It's 7:07. I'm Daedalus Howell. That is Mike Wall. He's running for Town Council of Windsor. And we left off talking about who gets to decide how fast and how much Windsor grows, right? Or at least who's going to provide the answers when those questions are asked.
Right.
And I think you should just stop growing. But like startup culture, it's not based on what's best for the company and the product and the client and the end user. It's about growth. Right? And I'm worried that this growth mentality that a city isn't thriving unless it's growing may destroy what's good about Windsor, says average voter.
So I think that's directionally consistent with how I feel right now. Now, I'm not at all, and I think that some folks, as we get through the political aspect of a campaign and an election, I think some folks may inaccurately characterize what I want as no growth. Because that's not accurate.
Right, so there's a subtlety there.
Right, and there's an important differentiation there between shaking the fist, no growth, and hey, let's have smart, measured growth that's in line with the community's needs and the community's desires.
Which are?
Well, and see, see that's the question, right? And so how do you? So I don't want to answer the question with a question, but how do you gauge what's in the best interest of the community? How do you gauge what the desires of the people are, right? And I guess my first answer to that is it is not by reaching out and saying what's important to the developers,
right?
So that's.
But there's this idea that developers bring jobs and growth. They don't. They bring their own guys, and then they leave.
Sure. Yeah, and that can be the case.
Yeah.
And so, look, this is not scientific by any stretch, but if you walk your neighborhood and talk to your neighbors and your friends and you interact with people down on the town square during the farmers markets and the concerts, there's a prevailing sentiment that the growth rate right now is not desirable.
That it's too much.
It's too much too fast.
Yeah.
I mean, we have almost 1,000 homes in the queue for the coming year.
Really? God, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, okay.
To put it in context, the 10 years prior to that, 750 approximately. Okay. That's a close number, right?
And we have to remember, those houses are still here.
Those houses are still here.
They don't go away. You just keep piling more and more.
Right.
And all the exponential stuff that comes with that, traffic, school issues, all kinds of things happen.
Right. Yeah. So, and just to, and I don't know if this is getting out of topic here, but the other thing to remember is that growth is not just homes, right? For smart growth, it needs to be concurrent with the infrastructure.
Right.
And so, if you're not adding additional, if you're not widening the roads, if you're not adding parking, if you're not adding desks at the schools, but you're continuing to let developers pile up homes, that's not smart, well thought out growth.
Right.
It's great for the developer that's coming up from LA and making $1 million. It's not great for the dad and the mom who's trying to get across town, get their kids into school. And these are the types of things that the perspective that I want to bring to the council.
I would imagine a counter argument would be, well, more homes means more inventory, which means eventually more affordable housing, which means that's better for the community, is it not?
Well, so it's an interesting question. It's kind of a conundrum too, right? So yeah, there's a housing issue in Sonoma County, and we need to have affordable housing, and we need to address that problem. But in my opinion, you also need to balance that with preserving the culture of a town that exists and the will of the people that live there.
Right.
Another thing about the affordable housing, we've got almost roughly 800 units coming online from a Southern California developer probably in the next year. And he basically bought his way out of having to have any of that be low-income housing. So he paid in lieu fees to the town, to past leadership, paid in lieu fees to the town to go forward and not provide any low-income housing. So that's the type of leadership that I'm not comfortable with, and that I would look to replace.
You're saying, okay, the pockets were deep enough on the developers' side that they could just purchase a way, it's a legal mechanism that they could activate with money to get away or get around city council or town council, and then be able to not provide affordable housing because they can afford not to.
No, it's worse. It's worse than that.
Okay.
Because it did not go around the town council. It went through hand in hand with the town council.
Oh, man.
Right. So that's I mean.
So that's why you need to be there to stop that.
I want to be part of the new leadership that says we will not take in lieu fees to avoid low-income housing. Right? This goes back to, we were talking offline a little bit about the diversity in Windsor.
Right.
And you know, if you don't account for that, you're really going to hurt your community. And I don't support that. I don't think it's right.